Hello, Midas Mighty. I'm Dr. Haydeé Brown, orthopedic surgeon, teen mom, nonprofit founder, entrepreneur, and this is Dr. Sonya
Yeah.
Sloan. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sonya Sloan. I'm also an orthopedic surgeon. I am a mom of three, wife, first lady of a mega church here in Houston, Texas, a best-selling author, The Rules of Medicine, as well as a woman that is proud to be an Alpha Kappa Alpha Incorporated member. So today we're getting into some of the recent things going around the world, mostly all things Kamala Harris, of course.
Yeah. So over the past couple of days, we have been hearing one particular word pretty often. Just one word, and that word is joy.
Joy,
Joy and joy.
joy.
And, VP Harris has announced her running mate, and that's Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. And he actually opens his speech the other day thanking Vice President Harris for bringing back the joy. Let's go to the clip.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you, Philadelphia. Thank you, Madam Vice President, for the trust you put in me, but maybe more so, thank you for bringing back the joy.
Man, I love him. I mean, Tim Walz is going to change the game at this point. Just in the past 24 hours, he's raised $36 million since joining the ticket. So not just about all the money and all of this other stuff, but just the feel good, what America needs right now. Like what we want is joy. We want our happiness back. We want to seem like we are in a time of relevance and not fighting, And so we contrast that to some of the other things that 45 and JD Vance have recently said. We're going to let you watch this clip and just note the difference in language, in the tone, the energy, the negativity. I mean, it's night and day, and that's what America's here for. We want more joy. Head to the clip.
Sir,
I want to talk a little
could
about
you speak a little louder? Sorry.
Will Jones from Local 4. I want
Yes,
to talk
sir.
a little bit about race. I was at the National Association of Black Journalists conference last
Yes,
week
sir.
where President Trump made some attacks on Vice President Harris's biracial heritage. You're married to an Indian American woman. You have biracial children. How do you explain his attacks, and what is your reaction to his attacks as a father of biracial children?
Yes, sir. So I am the father of biracial children. Actually, my wife is here today. My kids are back home with my aunt today. And look, I was not bothered at all by what President Trump said, and I didn't take it as an attack on Kamala Harris's biracial background at all. What I took it as was an attack on Kamala Harris being a chameleon. She pretends to be one thing when she's in front of one audience. She pretends to be something else when she's in front of another audience. And I think he was observing the basic foundational reality that Kamala Harris pretends to be something different depending on which audience she's speaking to. Now,
I mean, if we really get into it, it's sort of comical in the fact that code switching, that's a whole nother conversation that we can have later on. That he talks about this duality of, Vice President Harris's, one time she's one person Indian versus African Americans. She has never declined the black card. Let's just get it straight. She
Not
has
at
never
all.
declined the black card. She has embraced both of her heritage. I mean, and truth be told, all of us are mixed with something, but I had an aha moment where I understand why they now picked JD Vance because he has biracial children. I mean, he can relate now. So I get it. I understand, but let's just be very, very clear. Kamala Harris has never doubted, showed hesitancy, played down her black card, her blackness, her beautiful black woman that she is. Never. And she's embraced both of her heritages brilliantly and beautifully.
You said that so eloquently, Dr. Sloan. I completely agree. I think one of the things that Vance is bringing out in this is race. Race is such a big, big, big aspect of this race, this presidential race. And speaking of chameleons, I mean, JD Vance's running mate is a chameleon. Just the other day, on Saturday, he was at this rally in Atlanta, and he talked so much about saving an HBCU, and really, I mean, even had a Black woman on the stage. And it actually got pretty weird. Yes, you gave money to an HBCU, and we'll fact check that, but I think he was actually hitting on the woman on the stage. It's really weird. Just take a look.
It's President Trump. You saved my college. And I said, how the hell do you know that? She said, this one is so smart, so sharp. She grabbed me. She gave me a kiss. I said, I think I'm never going back home to the First Lady.
You were supposed to keep that quiet.
See, now, for the average politician, that's death. For me, I don't care.
Wow. Infidelity. I mean, that's not something that he hasn't already owned up to. He's just making it once again very clear that he does not respect his wife. I mean, current First Lady or past former First Lady Melania Trump, I mean, I feel sorry for her. And I think a lot of us feel sorry for her that she has to deal with this type of personality, you know. But really, let's really peel away what he's doing here. He is demeaning Black women. Number one, to say that we would even want him. That's one thing. But then that's the whole thing of like, I'm going to have you as the concubine in the background. I'm going to have you as the side piece. You know, that's something that is basically to say Black women are nothing and I can have this on the side and I'm not going to go home to my wife. What? With all due respect, most Black women wouldn't stand for this kind of thing. And I think in the end, Rule 21, karma's a bitch, and what goes around comes around. So I believe he should be very, very careful, very careful.
Extremely careful. We have this, really, let's say what it is, a token Black woman on the stage. So you can talk about HBCUs and your attempt at an appeal to the Black population. If we really want to think about things, we could think about the exonerated five and the ads that he took out in multiple New York newspapers trying to have these five innocent men killed, really. We think about how the COVID-19 pandemic and the initiative part, it disproportionately killed Black and brown people. And at that time, this president, 45, was on TV telling people to drink bleach. So it's just important for us to know that he's coming from, of course, a fake standpoint. He is not a person that cares about Black people. He is not a person who cares about Black women. He's not, frankly, a person that cares about any women. He told us on tape that he wants to grab people by the...
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to just keep things in perspective. And one of the things that's problematic is that he kind of skirts the rule. Wouldn't you say that, Dr. Sloan?
Skirts it. He's been up and down the skirt, around the skirt, all pun intended, So at this point, we know he's a womanizer. We know he is a cheat. We know that he's a liar. We know he's a narcissist. And so our hearts go out to his wife, his current wife, more so because what Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are bringing are some of the family values, are some of the respect, and again, bringing back the joy. This is the conversation we want to have. These are the people we want to be around. This is a feel good. They're laughing, they're smiling, and more than anything else, they are bringing our country back together again at a pivotal time that we need it so much. We need this at this point. Recently, there was another time, a conversation that was had, I believe, something about immunity. Let's roll this clip.
Think about the fact that last month, the United States Supreme Court basically told the former president, who has been convicted of fraud, that going forward, he will be immune no matter what he does in the White House. Think about what that means and the changed circumstances since 16/6/20 when you think about what that court decision means. Donald Trump has openly vowed if reelected, he will be a dictator on day one. That he would weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies. That he would round up peaceful protesters and throw them out of our country. And even, quote, terminate the United States Constitution. So let us be clear. Let us be clear. Someone who suggests we should terminate the Constitution of the United States should never again have a chance to stand behind the seal of the President of the United States.
She put some bass in that
Correct.
voice, like you better believe what I am saying. Like, call it on the carpet. He is telling you who he is. He's not lying. He's not trying to hide. He hasn't. And so therefore believe him the first time when he tells you. He shows you during an insurrection. And so now we know that he wants to be this, dictator and basically write off his ticket that I'm immune, as well as some other things from police officers and everyone else. He never even answered the question about police officers having immunity with the conversation around the National Association of Black Journalists. And so this is a time where he's saying, okay, we're turning back and, we're going to change things as, to make this better, but better how and better for who? And right now it's not people that look like me or you or LGBTQIA or, setting us back hundreds of years at this point. So I think that if anything else, we're all on the same page of democracy and its importance, and that's not hesitating to steal this moment right now and making sure that people are registered to vote, checking and verifying that they're registered to vote, making sure that they show up at polls, bring people with them, maybe even become, pollsters being there to actually help during this poll, because the shenanigans are about to go down and we know it. So come ready. We're ready for it though, because I believe with Tim Walz as the vice president running mate at this point, I mean, you got a veteran. He was previous teacher. He knows how to deal with people. He was previous football championship, so therefore he knows people. He came from a small town. He knows how to deal with people on different levels where Vance does not. And the best thing he said was, I can't wait to debate him. What? I'm like, it's going to be the best TV ever. Like, get your popcorn ready, right? And so we know Trump is not going to show up to vote, to debate with Kamala Harris. We know he's not going to show up. He doesn't have it in him. He's scared. He's running scared. And I believe it just broke that Vance said that he would actually debate, but he would only debate, Vice President Harris.
Which is ridiculous, right? That's absolutely ridiculous.
Privilege, is it not? Do you think that you're going to debate the vice president and you're running for it? Boy, please step back. This is respect is one thing, but he's afraid to debate Tim Walz because he would take him, have him for lunch. What?
And that's the part that's pretty outstanding, right? Tim Walz, they're very specific about the language that they use. They call him Coach Tim or Coach Walz, right? Because a coach is someone that is respected and listened to and revered in almost every community. And really hearing about him being from the Midwest and him being Coach Tim, Coach Walz in the Midwest is key because he's relatable and he's able to say things in a way in simple words that really appeals to the folks that we want to get out to vote. He's able to say it to them in a way that they want to be inspired, in a way that they can be believed, in a way that they are motivated and have this energy to not just vote or not just vote early, but also to have those around them to encourage them to vote and encourage them who to vote for. So I want to return to that word joy, because I really think with this kind of announcement of the vice president, we are entering this era of this, next 90-ish days where we are joyous. We are going to work hard. We know that this will be a hard road, but it's really highlighting who we are as Americans. When you think about it, we're a multicultural democracy and we're all stronger when we act together. And, it doesn't take a lot, but the great Maya Angelou did say, when people show you who they are, believe them. Trump has shown us who he is, and we need to believe him the first time.
Yeah, but I think Vice President Kamala Harris, now the Democratic candidate for President of the United States, said it best in this last clip that will set the tone again, bringing us the joy, but uniting us as well as showing who really has the power. And what this new transition has brought about is a undergirding of energy, as well as people at a fever pitch to really make a difference and bring back the democracy that we all know, which is about the people and for the people. And she says, we have the power. Let's roll that clip.
So this is a fight to make real the promise of America for every person in our nation. And also, I'll tell you, and I promise you, our campaign is going to reach out to everyone, from red states, from blue states, from the heartland to the coast. We are running a campaign on behalf of all Americans. And when elected, we will govern on behalf of all Americans. Because Coach Walz and I know, and we're clear about this, unlike the other side, we work for you. We work for you, the American people, and we will always fight for you, for your family, for your freedoms, and for your future. So Wisconsin, ultimately, this election is about a question that we each face. We each face a question in this election, and that is, what kind of country do we want to live in? Do we want to live in a country of freedom, of compassion, of rule of law, or a country of chaos, fear, and hate? And the beauty of our democracy is we each have the power individually and collectively. We each have the power in a democracy to answer that question. The power is with the people. The power is with the people.
The power is with the people. So I think that's enough said. Today, I'm Dr. Sloan.
Dr. Brown. And we are eh-yah.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.